Welcome to the All Need Music Podcast. I'm Matt.
And I'm Jesse.
We're back again.
With special guest, Carl in the house.
Yeah, Carl's hanging out over here. Not on camera today, but he's definitely
He's below the
out.
camera?
No. Oh,
back again.
So,
hello, Michigan.
Little delay.
Tennesseans.
Yeah. Spent what did we go down there? The 31st of May?
Sunday?
Let me look at the calendar. I don't even remember what day it was. No, we went down on the 1st. The 1st. So we were there the 1st through the 9th. And
yeah, buddy.
Holy shit.
Nashville's hot.
I need a week of Nashville every month.
Not a week of CMA Fest every month, though. Hell no.
Too much for you?
Not too much. Just enough. There's just so much going on that days, weeks just mingled together. This podcast, what we're doing is we're going to kind of recap our time down there, what we did, what we saw, the performances, the artists, everything like that. And, we're kind of just spitballing before here. And I'm sitting here trying to rack my brain. I'm like, I don't even, because we're going to break this up into probably two parts, and cover the first half of the week and the second half. And I'm sitting here trying to when did I see this person? On what day was this? I'm just going to be throwing out stuff here. And you're going to be like, no, that was 3 days after this.
Right.
Yeah, it was.
Well, I'm going to try
stimulation overload.
I'm going to try and keep you on track best I can. And so, the week started out, we drove down on Sunday and just had chill day.
Yep. Last time when we went down there for the first day for Monday, because we had stuff going on Monday night and it was kind of super rushed. It was go. As soon as we got down there, it was like quick change of clothes, mix a drink, and boom, head down to the festivities. So this time we decided to go a day early, get our bearings, get all our provisionings for the week, and just kind of have a chill night to get ready for the chaos that was going to happen. So so let's before we dig into that, let's let them know. Last time when we went down there, it was Matt and I and our two lovely wives, the Penis Gallery, Megan and Tasha. And then also good friends Lance and Angie joined us. This time, Lance and Angie didn't make it this time, but we were able to bring along a whole gaggle of other friends down there with us to experience CMA Fest like we got to a few years ago. So,
damn it, Dan.
Damn it, Dan. First time in Nashville for Dan. He got to experience it. Carl sitting right next to Matt there. He got to go with us this time. And then we also took one of our super fans, our number one podcast fan. We got to take Sarah May with us down there. So that was super cool getting to take her with us, who she's as big of a music junkie as probably you are, I would say.
Pretty close.
Not as, but pretty close. Like she, like I said, she's probably our number one fan between her and Carl as far as engagements and everything like that. They're constantly on it. And so we got to take her. That was pretty sweet. We had Jessica and Heather that joined us later in the week. We'll get to that later. But so yeah, we had a whole crew this time rolling with us.
Yeah. And, everyone kind of had their own game plan for the most part, a lot of overlap. But again, Sunday night was chill. Monday morning, Dan wanted to do something that I've done previously. And it was like, oh, absolutely, I'll take you. Let's do this. And so Dan is a huge Conway Twitty fan. And so, I told him, I'm like, hey, I can take you to where Conway Twitty's buried. I've been there before. And so me and Jesse and Carl and Dan opted to load up and do that. And so we headed out to see Conway Twitty's grave. We posted a lot of this on social media. So if you're following us there, you've seen some of this stuff that we're talking about. And then we
Was Conway Twitty in Hendersonville as well?
no, I think it's actually Gallatin is the town, I believe,
Gallatin.
that
Okay.
cemetery is in.
Yep.
And
Just
then,
outside Nashville.
yep. And then Hendersonville is where Johnny and June are buried. And we went there as well as to Johnny Cash's old home in Hendersonville.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was
That
cool.
we went and checked out as well.
Well, what was left of it?
Right. Which they're
Had it.
rebuilding.
Yep.
But it burned down. I believe it was one of the Bee Gees that owned it when it burned down.
Okay.
And so, yeah, ended up going and checking that out. It was the early part of the day, knowing that we had plans later in the evening. So we did that early and kind of came back and chilled for a little bit. And then it was off to the races.
Time out. Prior to getting down to Nashville, my merch for the day,
Right.
Buc-ee's. Look at that cute little squirrel.
Right. Not an artist, but everyone
Not
loves
an artist.
Buc-ee's.
We Michiganders, we don't have the Buc-ee's yet. I think they're building it, but it's a destination, and few people had been there, but a bunch of us hadn't been there, so we made sure that we stopped down there. So yeah, I had to throw that out there in case people were wondering why I had a big old gopher on my glass here.
Right. So he's also not a squirrel or a gopher.
Chipmunk?
God.
Buc-ee the ground squirrel.
Yeah, that's what it is. They're
Right.
they're going to be like, wait, we don't want anything to do with this podcast. I don't even know what Buc-ee's is.
I didn't want to tell him how the big beaver violated me when I got my picture taken with him.
That was your own doing.
I didn't know it was going to do that. Somebody said pose with the little chipmunk, so I did. Beaver. Yeah. All right, sorry. So, after Johnny and June and Johnny's house, then back to our house that we had for the week.
Yep. And then we all loaded up to head over to the ballpark for the Celebrity Rock and Jock softball game put on by Folds of Honor Tennessee and graciously sponsored by Black Rifle Coffee.
Oh, yeah.
So got to plug them because I love that they sponsored the event. It's a great time. We went 2 years ago when we were there as well. If you guys ever go to...
It was a little different. The setup, Black Rifle, they were the only ones that really had a booth set up there.
Yep.
Like last time when we went, they had, the Army and the Navy, and they had all their booths and tents. They had the big helicopter you could go sit in and get a picture with, but they didn't have any of that this time. They had a bunch of yard games out there, like bags and bowling and stuff like that. But then, the Black Rifle tent, they had a pretty big booth.
Probably because you and I had threatened to steal that helicopter 2 years ago. They were probably like, yeah, we probably don't want to bring that back.
They heard the pre podcast about us coming back down there and how we were going to go there, and they saw Matt's name on the ticket holder, and they're like, "Yep,
no tanks, no helicopters,
fly that bird out of here." We did see him going around, so that's probably what it was. They knew we were on our way.
Yep.
They had our Uber location.
In case you guys don't know, the Folds of Honor Tennessee Celebrity Rock and Jock softball game gets country music artists, other celebrities. They also get first responders and veterans. And if you are a first responder or a veteran, they offer free tickets to you. And you can get, we could have gotten tickets with Carl and I, we could have gotten tickets for our whole group. We opted not to do that. We opted to buy tickets to support it because we love what they're doing and want to see it keep going. So we purchase tickets rather than getting the free ones. But if you're on a tight budget and you want to go and you're at CMA Fest and you're a veteran or a first responder, take them up on the free tickets and go to the game. You'll have a great time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very entertaining. They do a lot of stuff. A lot of children and kids were there.
Mm-hmm.
So they do a lot of stuff, with their mascots and throwing the t-shirts and shooting them with the gun and doing a lot of stuff like that. In between each inning, they usually are like interviewing some of the artists on the big screen
Yeah.
and stuff. And then before the game, you got to go down and get autographs and stuff like that, which was a little different because they had the screens up this time, so you couldn't get like
as close
to them. But
yeah,
over on the
those,
other side, they had people coming down onto the field and kind of getting pictures and stuff.
Yeah, so we were able to, Sarah and I did the autograph hound kind of deal, and we got some signatures from Zach Top and from Jordan Davis and from Chase Rice and Gavin Adcock.
Yeah.
So those were all like during the game, or just
who was
prior
the first
to
autograph?
Zach Top.
Yep. So Sarah, who is like a super music junkie, she told us before that she's never met anybody famous before.
Right.
Like, and I was like, really? And I was like, stick with this guy then. He'll get you down there. He'll sniff them out, and he knows how to get the autographs and the meet and greets and stuff like that. So
yeah,
we kind of we all went and used the bathroom and got drinks and found our seats. And Matt's like, I'm going down. I was like, Sarah, you're going with him. Like,
yep.
So
and I took young Grasshopper under my wing, and we went and hounded some autographs and got some good close up pictures, and just a good time. And then obviously, I managed to talk these guys after the game into going down some seedy dark alley and getting some more signatures after the fact from some artists.
We were catching them kind of back behind the locker rooms, if you will. They don't know where the locker rooms are.
It'd be easy to figure out if they wanted to really look. So we don't tell people that.
Yeah.
If we go back, there's going to be 87 people in that alley.
Just wait, like way out in right field, the exit out there, and that's where it's at.
Such a dick. Always giving out the good intel. I
mean,
try and keep
Mitchell
that stuff.
2 years ago, Mitchell Tenpenny got us arrested outside of right field fence.
he did not.
There's picture evidence.
Mitchell Tenpenny's a great dude, and chatted with us, took pictures, and then we posed as though we were getting arrested. But Mitchell Tenpenny did not have us arrested. Do not listen to Jesse.
Matt was like a little fanboy. Mitchell, can I hold your bat?
No.
I love your wife.
I do. She's great. And that'll be later on in the podcast, or probably part 2, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Depending on where it falls in line with things. But
I don't even know what days.
That was day 1.
I do want to say though, when we were in the skeezy alley waiting on artists.
Yep.
Shit.
Are you going with the Charles Esten story? Is that what you're
Yes, there you go. Charles Esten, yes. I freaking just drew a blank. I just wanted to call him Ward. So Charles Esten, for you guys that don't know, great country singer. He was there for the game. But he also appeared in the show Nashville and then also in Outer Banks. And it was kind of funny because we were at these gates and we were on one side of the gate and they were on the other side, and we were handing stuff through to get autographed. And I don't know if it was Tasha or Sarah, and was like, look, Ward's in jail. And for anybody that's watched Outer Banks, he plays Ward, Cameron, and he goes and he hits us with like some great inspirational like knowledge, and he said, "Have the heart of a pogue and the wallet of a kook." So if anybody's watched Outer Banks, will know what a pogue and a kook is. So it was pretty awesome. I was like, that right there just made my night. Like that was
Yeah.
awesome. Like, and that was only day one. So I was
Yeah.
I was happy at that point. So everything else was just a bonus.
Yeah. Day one was a great day. Certainly a good time at the ball game and everything else prior to with going to pay our respects to Johnny and June and to Conway Twitty. But it was just kind of scratching the surface of the weekend
Yeah.
in total. So
Did we head back to the house after that, or did we go somewhere?
we went back to the house after the ball game.
Okay. See, this is where
Um,
my days and nights get a little confused. Probably no thanks to the little squirrel.
right. Yeah. So Tuesday, we took it easy during the day,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we had the Stars for Second Harvest show.
When we say
Uh,
take it easy during the day, we were still watching all kinds of good shows from our rooftop patio.
right.
Lots of entertainment.
Yeah.
Not country music entertainments like
No.
CMA Fest, but there was music of some sort, and there was some good people watching. That's for sure. So
Yeah.
we kept
Lots of deals to be made.
lots of deals to be made. So we definitely entertained ourselves, or got entertained while we were just hanging out at the house. So
Yeah. So we headed downtown early for the Ryman show with Ernest, the Stars for Second Harvest benefit show,
yeah,
and checked another item off the bucket list for Dan, and went and had fried bologna sandwiches at Robert's Western World,
yeah.
which to me is a must when you go to Nashville. But
I'm just yeah. It just blows me away, the recession special.
yeah,
Like, so you go to Robert's Western World, which is like the last honky tonk on Broadway, um, which is just a great bar. Tons of, old history up on the walls and everything. Real small little venue, one floor, just a long kind of rectangle
it
bar.
has that upper back area above the bathrooms.
Is there something up there?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I just never make it past the bathroom, so
Yeah, it's a small seating area up there, but yeah, I
okay.
mean, you get a fried bologna sandwich, a PBR, a bag of chips, and a moon pie for $6.
$6. Like
You, you ain't
that's
you,
a meal and a drink for $6.
yeah. You go anywhere else on Broadway, you're not even getting a PBR for $6.
Right. That's why I was saying that's next time I go to Nashville, I'm just going to go to Robert's Western World and I'm going to order like 15 recession specials because
Just
so
give the
I
sandwiches
got one.
away.
Yeah, just give the sandwiches away to people, maybe trade them for a drink or something. Shot here's a sandwich, but it's so I got one of those, and Dan got one because we got there a little bit before you guys, and we ordered that. And Tasha ordered a Corona, and I think Sarah ordered like a rum and coke. And Tasha's Corona was $10. Sarah's rum and coke was $10 for a single, you know, small little Dixie cup. And I was like, you get a sandwich, a bag of chips, a moon pie, and a beer for $6. I'm like, I'm just gonna keep ordering those and get $6 PBRs and just sit there and drink those. Maybe eat a couple sandwiches, give a couple away. So I don't. The rationale, the mentality. Even I was looking at the beer list, like just a regular Coors Light was $9 too. So it's like, how are you selling a Coors Light for $9, but you sell PBR and all this other stuff for 6? So
All right.
yeah, I'm just
I
gonna
don't
do
know.
that from now on.
I'll take it though.
Yeah, heck yeah, it was a good sandwich too.
It is. Yeah. So we did that, and then we made our way over to the Ryman, and
You got your picture taken though in front of the new statue, didn't you?
um I don't know if I did. I know I took a picture of it,
Okay.
but I don't think I got my picture in front of it. I don't believe.
Okay.
But
So for those that don't know, they got a bunch of statues out front, like icons, and they have their newest addition was George Jones.
and can I say the level of disappointment that I felt when I seen that on Tuesday morning, uh, and
Yeah,
and realized that Jamie Johnson was there, like
to dedicate it.
unveiling that
Yeah.
statue, and I'm like, we were sitting around twiddling our freaking thumbs, and I could have been over there for that.
But I don't see we saw the video that day, but I don't know if it was
It
like
was
that
that day.
morning.
It
It
was that
was that
morning.
day? Son
Yeah,
of a gun.
yeah. We
I gotta
twiddled our
check.
thumbs and missed an
I got to
awesome
talk to my
opportunity.
travel agent on this one. He's supposed to know all this stuff, the
Yeah,
ins and outs.
he
He
knows
can
some
tell me.
things, but he doesn't know it all.
Yeah, I figured he'd know everything about that guy. I figured he'd had him on speed dial or at least like an electric tracker.
I wish I had Jamie Johnson on speed dial.
Me too.
I wish I just had his number, not even on speed dial.
Right.
I wish he'd answer my call if I did call him. That would be great too. Like, Jamie,
You
you
just make
answered
it your
me.
screensaver with this
Oh,
blocked.
that's my goal. The next time I do see Jamie, and I've seen him a few times, been very fortunate. But I'm telling you, the next time I see him, I'm going to get him to record like my voicemail or something. You know, my message from my voicemail. Like,
Yeah, there you go.
this is Jamie Johnson. You've reached Matt's phone. People are like, son of a bitch, how'd you get Jamie Johnson to do that? But like, well, I know some people.
That'd be pretty sweet, actually.
Yeah.
And then I'll go and
I would never answer my phone again. I'd make everybody listen to my voicemail.
right, right. And then I'll next time we bump into Randy Hauser, and I'll be like, "Hey, dude, like you got to record my voicemail now,
Because
or
Jamie
or you
did
got to
his.
or you got to give me my tuxedo T-shirt back.
Right.
Then you can have Jamie as your voicemail, and I'll have Randy as mine. It'll
Yeah.
be like yin and yang.
Yeah. Feel like the country Cadillac again.
There you go.
At any rate, so we're going down the rabbit hole again, and we'll never get through this week if we keep doing this. But so Ernest hosted a benefit, pardon me, at the Ryman, Stars for Second Harvest, which is the big food bank, in middle and eastern Tennessee.
Yep.
And so they do that every year. Ernest has done it for a couple of years now. But just for me, who's a junkie for uh, songwriters rounds, like,
Right arounds. Yeah.
it was just an incredible night, uh, with some incredible songwriters, and then an intermission, and followed up by, what was it, an hour and a half long set that Zach Top did.
Oh, at least, yeah. He just
I'm,
kept going and going and going.
yeah, I'm pretty sure it was about an hour and a half that he did,
And it was
after.
pretty much an hour and a half straight. He kind of like when you and Dan went and saw Hank, where you said that
Yeah,
like he didn't really talk much in between. It just went from song to song to song. That's kind of how Zach Top did, where he just went right into another one. He might have said something here and there, but it was kind of like boom and then boom, and so it was like an hour and a half straight of just him jamming on the guitar up there. So
yeah.
who
So
with the writers round, do you have all the names?
so
I
I
mean, I
I'm
know
I'm
Ashley Gorley
trying.
was there.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what those brothers' names are.
Yeah,
I'm
that's who I
trying to
couldn't
pull it up
remember.
right now, and I'm drawing a blank, and I feel horrible for doing it, because they were incredible.
Yeah.
Um, but
So for you guys out there that don't know, while he tries to pull this up, what a writers round is. So it was Ernest up on stage with his guitar and a microphone, and then he had four other guys with him, and they all just had a stool, a guitar, and a microphone. And so it's all acoustic, and they tell like the story behind the songs that they have wrote, and where the
Yeah.
inspiration came from, or where this came from. And then they just sit there and they play it acoustic on their guitar, and then the next guy goes, the next guy goes, next guy goes. And what's so cool about the writers rounds is that these people up here that you don't necessarily know who they are, because they're not stars, you don't see them, they're not recording their own stuff, they're writing it for other people for
Yeah,
the
not
most
always
part.
the face of the music.
Right. And it's like these guys are telling these stories, and they're like, oh yeah, my buddy, like Ernest writes a lot for Morgan Wallen, and he's like, my buddy Morgan cut this, and all of a sudden he's playing it. Or the one guy,
So it was Ernest, and then immediately next to him was
the two brothers.
yes, and that was, I had it pulled up and now I already freaking left the it
Damn it,
was,
Carl, quit messing
yeah,
with his computer.
it was the Warren brothers,
Warren
and
brothers, yep.
then Rivers Rutherford, and then Ashley Gorley.
Than Ashley Gorley.
Yeah,
And we've talked about Ashley Gorley on here before, about how he has more number one hits
than
as a
any
songwriter
songwriter.
than any songwriter out there. Plus, God knows how many that might not have made it to number one, but have been recorded. But
He's
yeah,
got
just super
over
cool seeing
400
like,
songs that have been recorded.
right, by big name artists. And then
Yeah,
yeah, what was it like? How many number ones was it? Like
80,
67 or something?
83.
83.
83.
So just to hear, where they come up with the stuff, where they get the inspiration, and then also when they're playing it, it's kind of like the version of how they wrote it,
Yeah.
and it sounds a little bit different than like how the stars, sing them and stuff like that. But yeah,
Yep.
super cool, where you're just like, oh my gosh, I did not know that this person wrote this song. Because and I even get caught up in it to where like I'm old school, to where like the artist wrote the song that he's singing, and that's the story that he's living by and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I don't think about that. Like, no, this is somebody else had a completely different mindset of how they wrote the song, and then how this person performed the song, and then what the song means to you too. So
Yep.
yeah, just super cool. Writers rounds are just absolutely phenomenal. If you guys ever get a chance to go to a writers round, just know that you're going to get blown away with
I'll take
the.
a writer's round any day of the week over a concert. To me,
Oh yeah,
it's one of the purest forms of live music to uh really support the songwriters who are making all of this music that we love. And getting to hear those stories just adds this whole other level to any
mm-hmm.
song that you've ever heard. And in some cases, Rivers Rutherford played a song that has not been recorded yet, and told a great story about his grandmother, and played a song that he had written that hauled off and punched you right in the gut. And I was on the end of the aisle, and my allergies started acting up, and so I kind of
You got a stick in the eye.
turn and look down the aisle where everyone else is, and then I realized that there must have been a lot of pollen in the Ryman that night, because everybody's allergies were bothering them.
Not down by me and Carl.
Yeah, it was. Don't even act like it wasn't. Don't even. That was a gut
Yeah,
punch song that
yeah,
needs to be recorded. That
yeah,
anybody hears that song it's one of those songs that you instantly relate to,
yep,
that you can, that it's storytelling at its finest, where
absolutely,
he's singing it, you've never heard it before, right? And as he's singing it, this is playing out like a movie in your
yeah.
brain.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
it's that kind of a visual song,
Yeah.
that was just incredible. And so,
Yeah.
so kudos to him for that song, because it's definitely something that needs to be put out there.
Well, and I'm sure that, just our row alone, like you said, the pollen was affecting us. I'm sure the whole auditorium, the pollen was affecting them because, like you said, every single person just instantly related to their own grandmother and
Yeah.
could see that exactly. I was sitting next to Dan and, kind of had my arm around him. I had my grandma's cross that I was wearing that night, and I was kind of rubbing that. And Dan's has recently lost his grandmother, as did I, and so it was like, but then yeah, it was kind of like him and I were kind of like sharing that moment, but then yeah, I kind of peeked down at everybody else and everybody else's, and even the people right in front of me, I could see them. A little lady was had her little handkerchief or napkin out or something like that, and I was like, damn, like holy crap, like everybody had that shared experience right there. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, the
But then also
songwriter.
he also had that story, and I can't remember what song it was, but he told that Taylor Swift concert story too.
I thought that was the brothers that did that. I thought.
Oh, was it No, I thought it
Yeah.
was him. Oh, the brothers. Okay,
Yeah.
that was pretty funny. But yeah, it's just cool to see the story behind the song, like
Yep.
just to get that. I mean, not to go down the rabbit hole too much, but that's 2 years ago when we went to the benefit on the same night, Tuesday. We went and saw Jamie Johnson do a writer's round with Rob Hatch, and that's where we first seen Miss Ella Langley. And that was one of those where Jamie Johnson was kind of telling the story about how he discovered Ella Langley with, from Randy
You're
Hauser and stuff.
you're twisting it around. She told the story.
Oh, she told the story. Yep.
His brain doesn't work so well sometimes.
Nashville gets me all combobulated. But it was cool, so that's how, that was like my first real writers round with like, well-known artists and stuff like that. But yeah, just
Yeah.
super cool to hear the behind the story and how even like Ernest like mashed up with these guys and how he's wrote with them and how they've all done stuff and just
Yeah.
the stories behind it. So
Yeah. And then so they took an intermission, and Matt happened to be in the right place at the right time. Went outside to get a little nicotine fix and look over, and who's standing right there? Ernest. And so I had a poster. I love posters. Some of you have seen my walls in here on some TikToks, but I love
why don't you roll
posters.
up this bad boy and take it down and get it signed?
Right? That would have been kind of
Carrying a
cool.
6 foot
You
tall
guys know,
poster.
can you get a
Hold
couple more
on, hold
tables? I
on.
need you to sign this. So, any rate, I had bought a poster for the show when we got there, and got Ernest to sign that. And not, I don't know, maybe 3 minutes later, here comes Ashley Gorley walking out, and so got him to sign the poster too. So, kind of
Figured you'd
a
have it on display already behind you.
nope, not yet. I came back and had to jump back into work and then rock the country. And so it's been a delay. I don't have any of my new cool stuff up on the walls yet.
Slacking.
Definitely.
You should get that handyman sitting next to you to put some up for you.
He's not even paying attention.
He usually don't when I talk.
Jesse said you need to get that handyman sitting next to you to get your posters and stuff hung up.
Yep.
Yep.
So, any rate, after the intermission, Zach Top came out and just killed it.
That
Incredible
guy's
show.
he is unreal. Like I absolutely love, like from the minute that we heard him, like he's that old country sound that I grew up on myself. There's rumors out there that Alan Jackson's his dad,
Allegedly.
allegedly. But he has that same, and that's kind of, Alan Jackson, Garth Brooks, Clint Black, all those guys that I kind of, when I was listening to country, that was what was popular kind of on the radio at the time. And then I dug
Yeah.
deeper into, Dad played, Waylon and Johnny and everybody. So, but country kind of shifted for a long time where I kind of fell out of country, and then it's coming back, and I just love that old country sound.
Yeah.
And that dude, he's got that sound, and he is one hell of a guitar player.
Yeah.
Like unreal. Like he didn't get into it as much at that thing, but I've seen some videos where he's played with Billy Strings,
Yeah.
and which is undoubtedly the greatest guitar player probably ever. And Zach Top's sitting there just right there with Billy Strings playing. It's just like, even Billy Strings was like, whoa, like, holy shit, this kid can play.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, just seeing him up there, and it wasn't he's not a flashy run around the stage. He's right there. He's just straight to the point, music, music, music. And like we were saying, he didn't talk to the crowd all that much, in between his songs, a thank you, and this song's called this, and I'm going to play it for you, and, right into it. And
Yeah, he
yeah,
gave
hour
us
and a
as
half.
many songs in that time frame as he could.
Yeah. Yeah. And then some.
Yeah. It was a great night.
Yeah.
Uh,
Tasha said that was probably the highlight of her trip, as far as seeing Zach Top like that, and in the Ryman, just a cool ass venue.
right.
Minus, she said, by the time, about an hour into Zach's performance, everybody's kind of doing one of
Tailbone.
these things, because it's an old church, and they still have the church pews in there, and that's what you're sitting on, which makes it great instead of sitting on this little dinky ass seat. But
Right.
after a while, you're kind of shifting to this side. I'm shifting onto Dan's lap, onto Carl's lap, like, so. But yeah, definitely a cool ass performance.
Yeah. And so that was kind of the end of the night for us on Tuesday.
Yeah,
And
Carl
then
drank too much that night. We had to take him home.
yeah, that was definitely what happened. So then Wednesday, we kind of had a slower start to the day. Jesse doesn't know what day Wednesday is because Carl had too much to drink on Tuesday.
Oh, I remember the nightcap of Wednesday. I was
Yeah,
just trying to remember the morning.
so Wednesday we headed over initially, like our first like stop of the day was over to Jelly Rolls Bar
Yep,
and met up with our boy Cole Bradford, who had
he was
a
doing a
set
writer's
going
round.
there. And so we went over there to see him, and then we made our way over to the Sky Deck for Whiskey
Deck.
Jam to see Blake Whiten.
Whiten, that is. Not
Not
Whiten.
Witten.
Whiten.
Whiten.
Y'all
If
better
you don't
know.
know, you better ask somebody.
You can ask us.
Yeah. We were tasked by Blake himself
Yep.
to set the record straight.
Yep.
Make sure
Later,
everyone
late,
knows.
later on in the week, we'll get to that a little bit. But we did apologize if you guys caught that video or not. And he did say, he said, that's all right. Everybody does that. Just make sure everybody knows from now on that you correct them. So we're here to
Yeah.
correct it.
Yep.
Blake Whiten, baby.
Oh, you know what? Scratch that. Back it up. Wednesday, we went to Martin's.
Oh, yeah. See, I knew there was something else.
Yeah. We went to Martin's. I jumped past that in my
You just
brain.
jumped past it. You were saying, I don't remember, but I knew there was something.
Yeah. Well, I remembered what it was.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there at our table at Martin's Barbecue.
For people that don't know, if you ever been to Nashville, or if you're going to Nashville and you haven't hit Martin's Barbecue, it's the place to be. It's an awesome place. They have indoor and outdoor seating and just bomb food.
Yeah. So we're sitting there at our table, and Tasha's like, that dude over at the bar is wearing a Waylon Hannell hat. And I'm like, is
She
he?
was
And
wearing the same hat.
so I turn and look, and I'm like, well, yeah, that would make sense. That's his dad and his mom, and he's on the bar and sitting right next to him.
Yeah, I like
And
stood up to look over, and I was like, because Matt's like, I think there's somebody next to him, and I stood up over our little embankment and stood up, and sure enough, it was Waylon sitting right there. And of course, I had a beer PBR with my Waylon Hannell koozie on it, so we had to take a time out from the food that had just gotten there, even though it was delicious. We're like,
yep, went
boom,
over
we got to go say hi.
went over to say hey, talked to him for a few, went back to chow down, and then on their way out, they stopped us and we grabbed some pictures and
Yo,
shot the shit for a few more minutes before heading on our way. But at any rate, then we went to Jelly's Bar and seen Cole, and then we went to Skydeck to see Blake.
yo,
And then after that, we made our way down Broadway, pardon me, to see Waylon perform.
right.
And so that was a cool night of a lot of great artists, some of whom we know pretty well, like Waylon, and met a few other artists that night as well that we didn't know prior to. And so,
So
uh,
the performance that we seen, so Blake White and when we went to the Sky Deck, those were like scheduled. He put on, I mean, what did he play for like a half hour or something like that?
yep,
Bunch of our other artists were playing. I think Warren Zeiders was the headliner for that night.
yep,
But then down at the little bar that we went to that Waylon was playing at, it was
Whiskey Bent,
just, what was that? Whiskey Bent.
Whiskey
Yep.
Bent,
It was just kind of a bunch of kind of newer artists and stuff like that that kind of got a spotlight, and they got up there and they each had like what 10 minutes to play or something like that,
yeah.
10 or 15, and so they got to play like 2-3 songs, kind of like introduce themselves, tell a little bit about it. So
It was kind of
um
a writer's round in a sense, other than like it was just one at a time and then they were done. It didn't loop through. But
right.
it was all artists that were doing original music.
Yep. Yep. So we went there to see Waylon perform, and right when we got into the place, it was on like the second floor, and a lot of the tables were taken up, and there was a lot of the artists, and they had their guitars everywhere and stuff like that, because it wasn't like a big stage; it was kind of a smaller stage, and they were all there. They got their 15 minutes or whatever. Um, but I do remember I walked in, and I'm kind of looking around like up front like this, and this big old dude comes up next to me, and
Carl, will you grab me that tube
he
out of that
uh
box?
he goes, looking for somebody? And I said, oh, just kind of looking for a table right now. And he goes, nah, I don't, maybe one right there. And I was like, well, there's some stuff on it. And he goes, oh shoot, speaking of which, I left my vape up on the up on that table that I was just sitting at. So I just thought he was there to kind of listen to some music and everything. Next thing you know, this guy goes up on stage, and I was like, oh shoot, he's a performer.
Yeah,
And he goes up on stage, and what did he say? He was a bigger dude, and he said that he wasn't, he said,
he was
I'm
the
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 Timu version of Jelly Roll.
yeah. So my interaction with him, I'm carrying this because I had gotten a
Yep.
Whiskey Jam poster, and I walked past this dude, and he's like, "You got a rolling pin?" I'm like, "No, it's a poster." And he's like, "Oh," I was like, why the hell would I have a rolling pin? He's like, I don't know. I thought maybe he was fitting to make some biscuits or something. And I was like, no, what wasn't planning on, but I could definitely go for some biscuits. I am bummed because I did realize after the fact, another dude that I totally dig his sound Tanner Sparks was also there as part of that we didn't catch.
Okay.
And seen a picture of him with Jaron Bell, the bigger dude, that thought that I was carrying a rolling pin, you know, uh,
Yep.
and just he's got a great sound too, and
Yeah,
super nice guy.
he got on stage and like he did two different songs, and one was kind of like more upbeat and southern twang kind of. And I was like, dude, this dude can sing. This is awesome. And then he's laughing and joking in between, like talking about stuff. Said that for Halloween, instead of jelly roll, he was what, dinner roll or something like
Yeah, he
that.
got Jelly Roll tattoo,
Yeah,
temporary
fake
tattoos.
tattoos, and he's like, I'm dinner roll. But yeah, and he's telling the stories, and then all of a sudden he kind of went into his so he is a pastor, a preacher himself, for a church down there in Tennessee. And so he kind of got into that and did more of a song, that was kind of more related to
Gospel took us all to
gospel and the
church.
church, yeah, Southern church. And so he had the funny, the great honky tonk sound on his first one, and then did the gospel, and it was great. We did get to meet up with him afterwards, talk with him. I instantly went on to Spotify and subscribed to him, found him, and everything like that, so we can listen to some more.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got to talk to him. Just a great dude. He said that that's what he wants to do, is through his sermons and music, is he goes, he wants to make people laugh, he wants to relate to them, he wants to, if he can, not make you cry, but you have
Make
that
you
feeling
feel.
of make you feel. So just a really good dude. So yeah, we definitely, hopefully, we'll be talking with him, sometime in the near future, because he was a really, really good guy. So, and he was
Yeah.
on like a couple before, and then of course, who were there to see was Waylon Hannell,
Yeah.
um, which I gotta say, like, so we seen Waylon, what was it, last year at the fair?
Yep. Open
Um,
for Trace Adkins.
Open for Trace Atkins. He did a killer job there, but the dude is getting better and better every time we hear him. Like, if you guys haven't checked out Waylon Hannell yet, we've talked about him. We did a new artist spotlight. Hopefully, we're going to get him on the podcast here real soon. But he's got that sound, and he's getting better. He's tuning his craft, and just getting better and better. So
Yeah. I mean, and the
super
reality
cool.
is he's still a kid. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah, he
Like,
graduated
so
high school in 2020. So yeah, I mean, he's
yeah.
only 24, 23,
20, 22, 23.
22, 23. Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. So
The youngin. So yeah.
he's a youngin.
So yeah, that was Wednesday. We wrapped it up after Whiskey Bent
Yep,
Saloon.
went out on middle of Broadway and got some pictures and had some moments out there. That
Yep.
was pretty cool. So we kind of did that picture sesh, and
Yeah. And
before Broadway got insanely crazy, it was still able to where you could be out in the middle and there wasn't a million
right.
people around you.
Yeah. So I mean that wrapped up Wednesday, and I feel like that's a good point to wrap this one up. So that was kind of our pre CMA, because CMA Fest technically didn't start till Thursday. So all of that was
Yeah, all
before.
those fair weather fans show up on Thursday morning, but we had a half a week of amazing shows and just cool
Experiences.
experiences before everybody even like showed up in town. So
Yeah. So if you're not doing CMA Fest that way, why are you even doing it?
I mean, right?
I feel like that's a must. It's a week long extravaganza. So yeah, that'll wrap up part one of Y'all Need Music CMA Fest week. And we'll catch you next time for part two on
Y'all Need Music podcast.
Catch you later.
Out.